my god! Fucking hell! Stop!
Flex uploaded a disturbing video titled Solo Overnight Camping in Deserted Farm to his channel The Flex Tapes. His channel focuses on urban exploration and wild camping adventures, often in abandoned or remote locations across the UK. In this particular video, Flex decides to return to an abandoned farmhouse he had previously visited for a paranormal investigation. What makes this exploration particularly unsettling is that he chooses to spend the night there completely alone. The farmhouse, once owned by a poet, sits isolated in the middle of nowhere, surrounded only by empty fields and the occasional distant building.
Flex begins his journey around the late afternoon, around 4:30 p.m., making his way across several fields to reach the abandoned farmhouse. Me and Dan came to this, I think it was last year, and we did some paranormal stuff in there. Now, there was quite good responses. So basically, what I've decided to do is, I'm fairly used to this place now. I'm used to where I am. I'm happy with my surroundings. But I'm going to go back, and I'm going to spend the night there on my own. It should be fine. I've been there at night before. I mean, should be fine. Yeah. Join me in a second. As he approaches, the dilapidated stone structure comes into view, standing eerily against the darkening sky. Upon entering the house, Flex finds it largely unchanged, a decaying time capsule of rural life. The interior is in an advanced state of deterioration, with peeling wallpaper, collapsed ceilings, and debris scattered across every room. Despite the decay, remnants of the home's former life remain eerily intact.
Yeah, it's just a really, really old farmhouse. There's not really a lot in here, but the reason I want to do this is because of what we found last time, paranormal-wise, and it was a bit strange. So there's a bed upstairs in one of the bedrooms, if I remember rightly. So we're going to go and have a look. Don't know if you can tell, but I'm not feeling good about this.
Yeah, so we're upstairs and not a lot has changed. This bed is ruined. This isn't the bed I'm going to sleep in. I just love this. I love how that's still there and the curtains. I just love that. And thinking about, when was that last used? Who was the last person to look in that mirror? Right. So the bed it's not the best, but I've got a sleeping bag. This room is probably the best.
Upstairs, Flex finds the bedroom where he plans to spend the night. The room contains a metal-framed bed with a stained, filthy mattress. Despite the decaying condition, he sets up his sleeping bag on top, determined to complete his overnight challenge.
Oh, wow. This is mental. I haven't heard anything, so I think I'm far enough away from there's no cars, there should be no farms, there should be no people, I should be fine.
Yeah, it's the wind. So I don't know if you can hear that. It is really windy outside. Thankfully, I've got the only room with a working window. That noise, I think the paranoia when I get quiet or go quiet, like you start to hear things, and I think it's like the paranoia, the wonder of being on my own, and like every little noise is like, damn, what's that? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? So what was I saying before? I need to keep talking. I need to keep busy. I need to keep occupied. As night falls completely, Flex returns to his chosen bedroom and prepares for sleep, setting up a night vision timer to record while he rests. The wind howls outside, creating an eerie soundtrack to his stay. After several hours of restless sleep, Flex is suddenly awakened by what appears to be flashlight beams. Then suddenly, something disturbing happens that changes everything.
Flex freezes, terrified, as he spots what appears to be someone approaching, moving through the house. He remains perfectly still, afraid to make any noise that might alert the intruder to his presence. After several tense minutes of waiting, Flex decides he needs to escape. He slowly begins packing his gear, and after the intruder appears to leave, he makes his escape. Moving as quietly as possible in the dark, decaying house, he navigates down the stairs and through the debris-filled rooms before finally making it out into the night.
Right, so luckily, I had no lights on, so that wouldn't even given away that anyone was in there. Maybe instantly just a farmer checking the place out, I don't know.
Flex never discovers who entered the farmhouse that night, leaving viewers to wonder about the strange encounter in this deserted farm.
I'm nearly back in the road. Look at this. I don't know if you can see the eyes. Yeah, the eyes of the sheep. It's like Silence of the Lambs.
This right here is Colin, who in October of 2023 uploaded a chilling video titled Explore an Abandoned Hospital at Night to his channel, The Bearded Explorers. His channel typically focuses on exploring abandoned and derelict locations throughout the UK. This time, Colin decided to explore an abandoned hospital known as the Royal Hospital Hassler in England. Built in 1753, this building served as Britain's first naval hospital and was once both the largest hospital and brick-built building in England. After 256 years of operation, it finally closed its doors in 2009, becoming the last military hospital in the country to shut down. But according to local legends and numerous reports from former staff, not all of its occupants have left. The hospital is rumored to be home to several spirits, including a nurse who committed suicide, a little girl who died in a fire, and numerous patients who met unfortunate ends within its walls. Colin begins his exploration by sneaking into the hospital through the basement, explaining that security has become increasingly vigilant about trespassers. Making his way to the main entrance, he points out the historical significance of the building, noting the train tracks still visible on the floor that once transported injured sailors from the docks. Trains, carriages, I don't know, on here. If they could be treated, they would be taken into the wards, and if they couldn't, they would go straight down to the church and get buried. And there is a mass grave out there. 10,000 people buried in that area. Absolutely mind-blowing. Oh, this is so creepy. Oh, there's a bot. A little bot flying around. It's eerily quiet in here, but you could hear a pin drop. Literally, there's no wind out there today. Okay, let's go.
But this peaceful, if unsettling, exploration is about to take a disturbing turn. Just 5 minutes into his journey through the hospital, Colin experiences the first of many unexplained events that will occur throughout the night. I can't help but feel that there's somebody walking right behind me. It's really, really creepy. And what we're going to do, we're going to walk through this area and we're going to go into the gymnasium, which is up here on the left, and we're going to have a look in there first. And then we're going to go upstairs and check out all the MRI scanners. Okay, that was weird. That door is just closed. But there is absolutely no wind in here whatsoever. What the hell was that? Okay, that was really, really creepy. Okay, I'm going to get out of this area because that was actually really scary. I don't know what that was. Despite being visibly shaken by the unexplained door movement, Colin continues his exploration, making his way to the famous spiral staircase, one of his favorite parts of the hospital. Here he shares some of the tragic story. And like I said before, there is a very sad story to a nurse who actually committed suicide here. Her name was Mary. After the death of a child that she was caring for, she jumped from the top and sadly passed away here. After exploring the staircase, Colin enters a room with a red chair and floral curtains. He notices something strange about the curtains. They're moving despite there being no wind or open windows. That's really bizarre because there's not even a window open here. Why is that curtain moving? Okay, don't think about it too much because like I said, I am here on my own. Trying to maintain his composure, Colin continues to the basement of the hospital. As he explores the basement areas, Colin suddenly freezes as he hears an unexplained noise. What was that? A pigeon. Oh, it probably was coming through that window. There's no wind today, but it is really, really raining hard out there now. Oh, there's always a creepy chair in the basement. Why? As Colin continues to explore deeper into the basement, he shows a particularly gruesome discovery. A preserved liver in a clear container, allegedly a remnant from the hospital's former medical museum. But moments later, the noise returns, more distinct this time, causing Colin to quickly leave the area. As he makes his way back upstairs to the scanning rooms, Colin experiences something that visibly frightens him. Still crazy to think that all of this stuff is in here. All the paperwork. Oh my God, what the hell was that? It felt like I bumped into someone, but there's no one there. Wow, okay, freak out. Okay, it felt like I bumped into someone, but there's nobody there. So I feel like I want to check every room now just to make sure there's no one in here, because that was really weird. Hello? Okay, that was weird. God, why do I do this to myself? That sounded like footsteps. That really sounded like footsteps. Like that, what I'm doing now, that's exactly what I just heard. I'm sure I just heard that.
The psychological toll of these recurring footsteps is evident as Colin begins checking every room. The weight of being alone in this massive abandoned hospital, potentially with something or someone unseen, is clearly consuming him. After investigating and finding no source, he presses on. But the most chilling moment of Colin's exploration occurs when he reaches a particular hallway, the same one where he previously captured what appeared to be the image of a little girl in photograph.
Basically what happened is, and I said it in my last video, I was taking some pictures about here of me standing there with a GoPro on my head looking towards the camera this way. You could quite distinctively see what looks like a little girl stood around about here, like there somewhere. If you look closely, it almost looks like she's turned around and she's turned her head looking towards me. Now, those pictures have not been messed around with. That is pure as you can get. And I know that's real. For 100% fact, that is real. It might be a shadows. I don't know. But it looks too much like a little girl to me. Right, I think this is the way out here, right?
I don't know if you heard that then, but that sounded like hello. This is absolute. There is no way I just heard that. I'm sorry I'm swearing, guys. But I do swear when I get scared. What happens next is perhaps the most terrifying moment of Callan's entire exploration. As Callan enters a room, the door behind him is clearly open. But within seconds of him stepping inside, the door violently slams shut on its own with tremendous force, as if pushed by an unseen entity. Visibly terrified, Colin immediately rushes out of the room, only to encounter yet another door moving on its own. The paranormal activity escalates further when an object suddenly crashes to the floor. Though this source remains invisible to both Colin and the camera, these rapid-fire supernatural occurrences leave Colin in a state of absolute panic. Frantically questioning what he's witnessing while desperately trying to make sense of the inexplicable events around him, Colin decides it's time to leave the hospital. But as he makes his way toward the exit, he encounters something that sends him running out of the building.
Later, reviewing the footage, viewers notice something Colin missed during the chaos. As he investigates another area of the hospital, he spots a cupboard with its door completely shut. He briefly looks away, and just seconds later, the door is now mysteriously open, though no one else is present to open it. This inexplicable change sends Colin into immediate panic, causing him to flee the area in terror. However, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, he cautiously returns to investigate further, only to discover that the cupboard door has inexplicably closed itself again, exactly as he first saw it. This rapid movement of objects without human intervention, combined with the strange sounds of what Colin describes as people fighting, becomes the final supernatural encounter that convinces him to abandon his exploration entirely. Colin finally makes it back safely to his car, visibly shaken and emotional from his terrifying experience. Whether he encountered spirits or something else entirely, in April of 2021, two Canadian YouTubers named Jordan and Johnny uploaded a chilling video titled Paranormal Activity at Sinister Farm to their channel Paranormies. Their channel is known for exploring haunted locations around the world. In this particular video, Jordan and Johnny investigate an abandoned farmhouse in a remote part of Steinbach, Canada. According to them, a couple from their area had messaged them about this creepy house. Built after World War II, the farm has been linked with numerous paranormal activities over the years. The history of this location is particularly disturbing. Locals claim the original farmer would leave every night and return in the morning. Tragically, one day he left and never returned. Over the past 80 years, multiple farmers have owned the property, but none remained longer than 2 years. The couple who contacted the explorers reported a terrifying experience while staying in the top floor bedroom. They heard distinct voices, and when they looked toward the window, they saw someone peeking in at them, despite being on the second floor. This impossible sighting led them to abandon the farm immediately and reach out to Jordan and Johnny to investigate. The duo arrived at the farm in the middle of the night. They began by exploring the surrounding area, searching for an entrance to the farmhouse. And then, this happened. So it's gotta be that window. Be that window. Barn. Shine the light back here. Yo, Johnny,
What? Yeah, there's a barn back there. If you look closely at the footage captured during this moment, a hand can briefly be seen reaching out from the second-floor window before quickly pulling back inside. This chilling detail, captured on camera but missed by the investigators, confirms that something was indeed present in the very window where the couple had reported seeing a face years earlier.
Unaware of what they caught, the duo continues exploring. After finding the main entrance dead-bolted and broken, they climb through a window to access the house. Inside, they begin setting up their equipment. Is anybody in here? Yep. Is that you who made that noise? Can you use the necrophonic? Say yes. Yes. Who are you? Demon. After the short necrophonic session, they go upstairs to explore further, unaware of the hand earlier. Then they decide to go back down.
What? I heard something. There it is. That's definitely a knock. Can you knock again if that was you? There it is. After hearing the mysterious knocks, they search the house but find nothing. Next, they conduct a sensory deprivation test. Jordan sits in a small bathroom with noise-canceling headphones while Johnny asks questions. Suddenly, something chilling happens. Johnny, did you hear that? What was that? I heard something. It was this light bulb dude. A light bulb, look. A light bulb has mysteriously fallen on its own. Then Jordan says, I feel like there's something pulling on my shirt. It keeps pulling on my shirt.
Shortly after, they hear a loud crash. A light bulb has fallen. Unable to find an explanation, they decide to try table tipping next. Before they can even begin the experiment properly, the table violently flips over on its own. At the same time, footsteps can be heard running down the stairs. They retreat upstairs as more unexplained noises echo through the house, objects being knocked off counters and dragged across floors. Despite their fear, they continue using an SLS camera. What they capture next is disturbing. A stick figure-like entity appears by the second-floor window, the same window where the couple saw a face and the mysterious hand was captured earlier. After this encounter, they leave the house and check the barn. Inside, more objects begin moving. A bottle thrown, then a box violently thrown. This becomes the last straw.
The progression is chilling. First, strange noises, then violent table movement, finally thrown objects. The entity's activity escalated as they refused to leave. Whether what Jordan and Johnny encountered was paranormal or a hoax remains unknown. Granny. Two YouTubers, Chris and Meg, uploaded a video titled, We Never Expected This to Happen, to their channel Back in Time MC. Their channel specializes in exploring abandoned properties across the UK. On this day, they explored what seemed to be an abandoned farmhouse. The outside showed all signs of abandonment, deteriorating walls, broken windows, and disrepair. Inside, they found shotgun shells, clothes still hanging, and family photos. Yet the house was decayed and dead birds were inside. They believed it was abandoned. Entering one bedroom with brown sheets and a walker suggesting an elderly resident once lived there, they were still convinced the house was empty. Then they discovered something shocking. As Chris filmed the bed and wardrobe, he suddenly saw someone inside. Oh my God, you're alive. You live in here. You can't live in here.
A woman named Jane had been living there for nearly 30 years. She explained she had come to help someone for 1 week in 1993 and stayed ever since. Despite the horrific conditions, she insisted she had food and clothes. Chris and Meg were heartbroken. They apologized, offered help, and promised to return with supplies. They later discovered social services knew about Jane, and her husband checked on her regularly. Jane supposedly chose to live there. This raised troubling questions about elder care and invisible lives living unnoticed in society.